Tom Anderson never expected anything unusual to happen in his simple suburban bedroom. The posters of space shuttles and distant galaxies on his walls were the closest he thought he'd ever get to anything extraterrestrial. But on that warm summer night, everything changed. He woke up to a soft blue glow filling his room. At first, he thought it was his phone's screen or maybe the moon shining through his window. But this light was different. It moved like water and seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. Sitting up in his bed, Tom rubbed his eyes. The digital clock on his bedside table showed 2:37 a.m. As his vision adjusted to the strange light, he noticed a figure standing near his desk. His heart started beating faster. "Please don't scream," a gentle voice said. "I mean no harm." The voice belonged to a girl who looked about his age. She stepped forward, and Tom's mouth fell open. She looked almost human, but not quite. Her skin had a slight purple tint that seemed to shimmer in the darkness, and her hair looked like strands of starlight, floating as if she was underwater. What are you?" Tom managed to ask, his voice barely a whisper. The girl smiled, and tiny spots of light danced across her cheeks like freckles made of stars. "My name is Rose. Your father knows my father. They work together." Tom's father was an aerospace engineer at the local research facility. Nothing special, just a regular dad who came home every day complaining about meetings and paperwork. Or so Tom had always thought. "That's impossible," Tom said, finding his voice. "My dad works with normal people, human people." Rose sat down on his desk chair, and the blue glow dimmed slightly. "Your father isn't just an engineer, Tom. He's Earth's primary liaison with my people. He and my father made first contact 15 years ago." Tom's mind raced. 15 years ago. He would have been just 3 years old. He tried to process what she was saying, but it felt like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing. "Why are you here?" he asked, noticing that Rose kept glancing nervously at his window. She twisted her luminescent hair between her fingers. "I need help. On my planet, I'm supposed to marry someone I've never met. It's our tradition. The marriage is scheduled for tomorrow, but Her voice cracked slightly. "I can't do it. Your father has always been kind to me when he visited our world. I thought maybe." A sudden bright light swept across Tom's window. A car passing by. Rose ducked down instantly, fear clear on her face. "They're looking for me," she whispered. "The trackers. They'll take me back if they find me." Tom didn't know why, but something in him wanted to protect this strange girl. Maybe it was the fear in her eyes, or maybe it was just that this was the most exciting thing that had ever happened in his ordinary life. "Stay here," he said, getting out of bed. "I'll check if Dad's awake." As he reached for his door handle, Rose grabbed his arm. Her touch was warm, like sunlight on a spring day. "Tom," she said, "your father keeps this secret to protect Earth. We're not supposed to interact with humans outside official channels. If the wrong people find out I'm here." Tom looked at her hand on his arm, then at her worried face. "Don't worry," he said with more confidence than he felt. "We'll figure this out." As he stepped into the dark hallway, Tom's mind was spinning. His dad knew aliens, real aliens, and now one was hiding in his bedroom, asking for help. What happened next would change not just his life, but possibly the relationship between two worlds. He took a deep breath and walked toward his father's room, wondering how exactly you wake someone up to tell them there's an alien refugee in your bedroom. Tom's hand shook as he knocked on his father's bedroom door. The house was quiet except for the soft hum of the air conditioner. After what felt like forever, he heard movement inside. "Dad?" Tom called softly. "We need to talk. It's important." The door opened, and Jack Anderson appeared, looking tired in his old blue pajamas. One look at Tom's face made him straighten up. "What's wrong?" "There's someone in my room," Tom whispered. "She says she knows you. Her name is Rose, and she's different." The color drained from his father's face. Without a word, Jack walked quickly to Tom's room. When he opened the door and saw Rose, he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "I should have known you'd come here," Jack said to Rose. "Your father called an hour ago. Everyone's looking for you." Rose stood up straighter. "Please don't tell them I'm here, Mr. Anderson. You know what they want me to do." Jack motioned for them to follow him downstairs. In the kitchen, under the normal light, Rose's alien features were even more striking. Her purple-tinted skin glowed softly, and her starlight hair moved in a non-existent breeze. "Tom deserves to know the truth," Jack said, sitting down at the kitchen table. "I'm not just an aerospace engineer. 15 years ago, I was working late at the facility when I made an incredible discovery." He pulled out his phone and showed them a photo. It showed a younger version of Jack standing next to a tall, elegant man with the same purple skin and floating hair as Rose. "This is Ray, Rose's father," Jack explained. "He was the first alien to make official contact with Earth. We kept it quiet to prevent panic. Over the years, more alien species joined our secret alliance. Earth became part of a galactic community, but only a few humans know about it." Tom stared at the photo. "All this time, you've been talking to aliens?" Jack nodded. "Ray and I worked together to slowly introduce alien technology to Earth. Those new solar panels everyone's talking about. Alien tech. The recent medical breakthroughs. Also alien science. My father speaks highly of yours," Rose added. "He says humans have something special. You adapt quickly and think differently than other species." "But why keep it secret?" Tom asked. "Some alien societies aren't ready to accept that a younger civilization like Earth could be their equal," Jack explained. "And many humans aren't ready to know we're not alone. It's a delicate balance." Rose's face suddenly turned worried. "Mr. Anderson, my father might be your friend, but he still believes in our old ways. He thinks this arranged marriage will bring peace between two powerful families. And you don't want that?" Tom asked. "I want to choose my own path," Rose said firmly. "On my world, we're advanced in technology, but stuck in old traditions. Women especially have little choice in their lives." Jack rubbed his forehead. "Rose, hiding you here could cause serious problems. Earth's position in the galactic community is still fragile." "Then we'll face those problems," Tom said suddenly. Everyone looked at him. "Dad, you always taught me to stand up for what's right. If Rose needs help, we should help her." A small smile appeared on Jack's face. "You sound just like I did when I first met Ray. I argued that Earth deserves a chance to prove itself." Suddenly, a bright light flooded the kitchen. Everyone froze. Through the window, they could see a car moving slowly down their street, its headlights unusually bright and blue-tinted. "Trackers," Rose whispered fearfully. "They're getting closer." Jack quickly turned off the kitchen lights. "Both of you, go to the basement. There's something there I've been keeping for emergencies." As Tom led Rose toward the basement door, he realized his ordinary life had disappeared forever. But looking at the alien girl beside him, he couldn't help thinking that maybe extraordinary was better. The basement was different from what Tom remembered. Instead of old boxes and dusty sports equipment, one wall was covered in glowing panels that looked like they belonged in a sci-fi movie. Jack quickly pressed his hand against the largest panel, and it lit up with strange symbols. "This is a cloaking device," Jack explained, typing on the glowing surface. "It will hide Rose's energy signature from the trackers." A soft hum filled the basement, and Rose's purple glow dimmed until she looked almost human. Only her floating hair still gave away her alien nature. "We need to do something about your hair," Tom said. "It's beautiful, but it's kind of obvious." Jack pulled out a small silver device from a hidden drawer. "This is an appearance modifier. Rose, it will make you look completely human for about 12 hours at a time." Rose took the device nervously. "I've never hidden what I am before." "Sometimes hiding is the brave choice," Tom said softly. She smiled at him and pressed the device against her neck. The change was immediate. Her starlight hair fell down normally, turning into regular blonde hair. Her purple skin took on a human tone. Only her unusual golden eyes remained the same. "Now we need a plan," Jack said. "The trackers will keep searching, but they'll move on if they don't find anything. Rose can stay here for a few days, but she'll need to act human." The next morning, Tom helped Rose learn how to act like a normal human teenager. He showed her how to use a smartphone. "Why is it so slow?" Taught her about human food. "You eat dead plants." And explained basic human customs. Rose was a quick learner, but there were close calls. At breakfast, she almost floated instead of walking. During lunch, she had to stop herself from making her food glow before eating it, apparently a common practice on her world. "Remember," Tom whispered when his mom walked by, "you're my friend from school, staying over because your parents are out of town." Tom's mom seemed to accept this explanation, though she gave Jack some suspicious looks. Tom realized his dad must have told her something to explain Rose's presence. The real trouble came that afternoon. Tom and Rose were in the backyard, with Rose practicing normal human walking, when a sleek black car pulled up in front of their house. "Get inside," Tom said quickly, recognizing the strange blue tint to the car's windows. They barely made it through the back door when there was a knock at the front. Through the kitchen window, they could see two tall men in black suits. They looked human, but their movements were too smooth, too perfect. Jack answered the door while Tom and Rose hid in the kitchen, listening. "Good afternoon, Mr. Anderson," one of them said in an oddly flat voice. "We're searching for a missing person, a young female of Luminarian descent. Our scanners detected traces of her energy in this area." "Really?" Jack's voice was calm. "Well, I work with Luminarians, as you know. Perhaps you're picking up residual energy from my visits to their world." The trackers were quiet for a moment. "Perhaps," the second one said, "but we will need to scan your house." Tom's heart raced. He looked at Rose, who was clutching the appearance modifier at her neck. Even with it, the tracker's advanced scanners might detect her. Just then, Tom had an idea. He grabbed his phone and started playing loud music. "Tom," he heard his father call, "can you come here? And bring your friend Amy from school." Tom squeezed Rose's hand reassuringly. They walked to the front door, where Tom was playing air guitar and Rose was awkwardly trying to dance. They looked like typical teenagers being embarrassing. The tracker's eyes passed over them. Their scanners blinked, but the loud music and movements seemed to confuse the readings. "My son and his friend," Jack explained. "They're working on a dance routine for school." After what felt like forever, the trackers left. As their car pulled away, everyone let out a breath they'd been holding. "Quick thinking with the music," Jack said to Tom. "Their scanners have trouble with lots of movement and electronic interference." Rose hugged Tom suddenly. "Thank you," she whispered. Tom hugged her back, noticing how warm she felt, like sunlight. He also noticed his dad raising an eyebrow at them. The silent moment was broken by Jack's phone ringing. He looked at the screen, and his face turned serious. "It's your father, Rose. We need to talk." Jack put his phone on speaker in the basement, where the cloaking device would keep their conversation private. Rose's father's voice filled the room, sounding worried but kind. "Rose, please listen," Ray said. "Prince James is here on Earth. He came himself instead of sending more trackers." Rose's human disguise flickered for a moment, showing her surprise. "James came personally. He's different from what you might expect," Ray continued. "He wants to talk to you, not force you back." Tom watched Rose's face carefully. "Who's James?" "The one I'm supposed to marry," Rose said quietly. "He's from one of the most powerful families on my world. I've never met him, but everyone says he's nice." Just then, they heard cars pulling up outside. Jack checked the security cameras he had hidden around the house. 3 expensive-looking cars were parked in front of their home. From the middle one, a tall young man stepped out. He looked human at first glance, but his movements were too graceful, like Rose's. "That's him," Rose whispered, looking at the screen. "He's not using any disguise." Indeed, Prince James stood in broad daylight, his skin showing its natural purple tint, his hair floating like liquid silver. He walked straight to their door and knocked. "I'll talk to him," Jack said, heading upstairs. Tom and Rose watched on the security screen as Jack opened the door. Prince James bowed slightly. "Mr. Anderson," James said in perfect English, "I apologize for coming unannounced. I'm not here to cause trouble. I just want to speak with Rose." To everyone's surprise, James wasn't acting like an angry or demanding prince. He seemed nervous. "Rose," Ray's voice came from the phone again. "James has been arguing with the council. He's been saying our marriage traditions need to change." Rose's eyes widened. She looked at the screen again, where James was still talking respectfully with Jack. "I need to meet him," she decided, "but not alone." Tom immediately stood up. "I'll come with you." They went upstairs together. When James saw Rose, he didn't move to grab her or call his guards. Instead, he smiled awkwardly. "Hi," he said, running a hand through his floating hair. "I, brought you something." He held out what looked like a small star, floating above his palm. "It's a light crystal from the caves near your home. Your father mentioned you used to collect them." Rose took the crystal carefully. "You talked to my father about me?" James nodded. "I wanted to know who you were, not just who our families wanted us to be." That's when I realized how wrong this whole arrangement was. Tom watched as James explained how he had gone to the council, trying to change the old laws. He hadn't succeeded yet, but he wasn't giving up. "I don't want to marry someone who's forced to be with me," James said. "And I don't want to be part of a system that takes away people's choices." Suddenly, one of James's guards ran up to them. "My prince, we have a problem. The council members are coming to Earth. They're angry about your speeches against tradition. They're coming to take both of you back." James looked worried for the first time. "They can't do that. This is Earth territory. They have no authority here." "They don't care," the guard said. "They're saying this is an internal Luminarian matter." Jack stepped forward. "Not if I report this to Earth's Defense Council. This could be seen as an alien invasion." "Then we need to move fast," James said. He turned to Rose. "I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm asking you to help me change things. Will you come with me to face the council? Not as my bride, but as my ally." Rose looked at Tom, then at James, then at her father on the phone. She took a deep breath, and the light crystal in her hand began to glow brighter. "Yes," she said, "but I have conditions, and my friends here need to be part of this too." As she spoke, more cars could be heard approaching in the distance. The council was coming, and they all had about 10 minutes to make a plan that could change two worlds forever. The sound of approaching vehicles grew louder. Through the windows, they could see 5 floating cars coming down the street, each glowing with a deep purple light. Unlike James's vehicles, these made no attempt to look human. "The council members," James said grimly. "Once they arrive, they'll try to create a containment field around the house." Jack rushed to his computer tablet. "I'm contacting Earth's Defense Council now. Rose, James, you both need to understand what's at stake here. If the Luminarian Council uses force on Earth, it would break every treaty we have." Ray's voice came through the phone. "The other alien species in the Alliance would have to choose sides." Tom looked out the window at the approaching cars. "How long until they get here?" 7 minutes, James's guard reported. Rose stood in the middle of the room, the light crystal still glowing in her hand. "I have an idea," she said, "but I need everyone to trust me." She turned to Tom. "Especially you." Tom nodded without hesitation. "What's the plan?" Rose began to explain quickly. As she spoke, her human disguise faded completely, and her natural glow brightened. "The council follows traditions absolutely, but there's one tradition they can't ignore: the light binding." James's eyes widened. "Rose, that's brilliant. But are you sure?" "What's a light binding?" Tom asked. "It's an ancient ceremony," Rose explained. "If two people share their light energy in front of witnesses, it creates a bond that not even the council can break. But it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a friendship bond." She looked at Tom meaningfully. His heart skipped a beat as he understood. "You want to create this bond with me?" Rose nodded. "A bond between a human and a luminarian would change everything. They couldn't force me to marry anyone else, and it would prove that humans are capable of sharing our deepest traditions." But, James added, "it's never been done with a human before. We don't know if it's possible, or what it might do to Tom." Jack stepped forward. "Tom, you don't have to do this. It could be dangerous." The floating cars were getting closer. 4 minutes left. Tom looked at Rose, remembering how she appeared in his room just yesterday, how she trusted him, how she wanted to change things for the better. He made his decision. "I'll do it. Tell me what to do." Rose smiled and held out the light crystal. "Hold this with me. James, you'll be our witness." "I'd be honored," James said. "As a royal witness, they can't deny its legitimacy." Rose's father spoke up from the phone. "I support this. The council needs to see that change isn't just possible, it's necessary." 2 minutes left. Rose and Tom stood facing each other, both holding the crystal. James stood beside them, his royal markings beginning to glow. Rose began to speak in her native language, words that seemed to shimmer in the air. The crystal between them grew brighter and brighter. Tom felt a warm sensation spreading from his hands through his whole body. Rose's eyes met his, and suddenly he could feel what she was feeling: her determination, her fear, her trust in him. The front yard lit up with purple light as the council's cars arrived. "Now," Rose whispered. Tom didn't know the words, but somehow he knew what to do. Together, they lifted the crystal. Light exploded from it, filling the room with colors Tom had never seen before. He felt connected to Rose in a way that went beyond physical space, beyond species. The front door burst open. 7 tall figures in flowing robes entered, their faces stern and ancient. But they stopped short at what they saw. The light from Rose and Tom had formed a pattern in the air between them, a symbol that even Tom somehow knew was impossible to fake. "The light binding is complete," James announced formally. "I stand as royal witness." The council members stared in shock. One of them stepped forward, his voice shaking with disbelief. "Impossible. A human." The light crystal pulsed once more, and Tom smiled. He could feel it in his heart. Everything was about to change. The oldest council member stepped forward, his robes shimmering with ancient symbols. "This is unprecedented," he said, his voice deep and echoing. "Never in our history has a human shared the light binding." Tom could still feel Rose's emotions through their new bond. She was nervous but determined. He stood straighter, drawing strength from their connection. "Council members," Rose spoke clearly, "this proves what we've been trying to tell you. Humans are more than what you think they are." James moved to stand beside them. "As royal witness, I can confirm the binding is real. You can all see the light pattern. It cannot be faked." The council members whispered among themselves in their musical language. Tom couldn't understand the words, but through his bond with Rose, he could sense their meaning. They were shocked, confused, and a little afraid. Just then, Jack's tablet lit up. "Earth's Defense Council is online," he announced. "They want to know why there are unauthorized alien ships in a residential area." The youngest council member, a woman with flowing silver hair, spoke up. "This has become more than a simple marriage dispute. A human has achieved light binding. This changes everything we thought we knew about their species." "Exactly," Rose said. "And this is why our old traditions need to change. Humans have shown they can connect with us at the deepest level. How can we keep treating them as lesser beings? How can we keep forcing our own people into arrangements they don't choose?" Tom felt a surge of emotion through the bond. Rose was sharing memories with him. He saw her world through her eyes, Beautiful cities of light, but also the strict rules, the arranged marriages, the limitations placed on personal choice. Without planning to, Tom stepped forward. The council members turned to look at him, and he realized he could see their light energy now, swirling around them in complex patterns. On Earth, he said, we believe that progress comes from change. Your traditions are beautiful, but they can grow to include new ideas. Rose, and I just proved that. The oldest council member raised his hand, and a sphere of light appeared above them. Inside it, they could see images from Earth's history, humans overcoming challenges, adapting, evolving. Perhaps, the council member said slowly, we have been too rigid in our thinking. This light binding shows capabilities we didn't know were possible. James seized the moment. Then I propose a formal challenge to our marriage traditions. As a royal heir, I have this right. I ask that we allow our people to choose their own paths, as humans do. The council members formed a circle, their lights connecting above them. Tom squeezed Rose's hand as they waited. Through their bond, he could feel her hope mixing with his nervousness. Finally, the circle broke. The oldest council member spoke again. We accept the challenge, but there must be proof that choice leads to stronger bonds than arrangement. The proof is already here, Rose said, lifting her and Tom's joined hands. The light crystal between them pulsed brighter. A chosen bond between different species, stronger than any arranged match. The youngest council member stepped forward with a smile. I agree, and I think it's time we learn more from our human allies. She turned to Jack. Mr. Anderson, would Earth's Council be willing to help us develop new traditions that respect both our ways and yours? Jack looked at his tablet, where Earth's Defense Council was waiting. I think we can arrange that, he said with a smile. The older council members still looked uncertain, but the light patterns around them had changed, showing openness instead of rejection. Through the bond, Tom felt Rose's joy and relief washing over him. There will be much to discuss, the oldest council member said. Many details to work out. He looked at Tom and Rose. But today, we have witnessed something remarkable. Perhaps it is time for change. As the council members began discussing plans with Jack and James, Tom turned to Rose. So, he said with a small smile, this isn't quite how I expected my weekend to go. Rose laughed, and her happiness sent sparkles of light dancing through their shared bond. Just wait until you see what a Luminarian celebration looks like, she said. We're going to change two worlds, Tom. Together. 1 month later, Tom stood in his backyard, looking up at the stars. Everything had changed since that night when Rose appeared in his room. Through their light binding, he could feel her approaching before he saw her. Ready for the ceremony? Rose asked, appearing beside him. She no longer needed to hide her natural appearance. Her purple-tinted skin glowed softly in the evening light, and her starlight hair floated freely. As ready as I'll ever be, Tom replied. Today was the first official celebration of the new alliance between Earth and the Luminarians. Representatives from both worlds would be there, along with delegates from other alien species. Their backyard had been transformed. Light crystals floated in the air, creating a dome of shifting colors. Luminarian technology kept the area hidden from curious neighbors, making it look like an ordinary garden party from the outside. Jack was talking with Ray near the garden gate, both of them looking proud. Tom's mom was chatting with some Luminarian women, completely at ease with their alien appearances now. She had taken the whole revelation about aliens surprisingly well, saying it explained why Jack had been so bad at keeping secrets. Prince James arrived with his royal guards, but today they were all smiling. The council sends their regards, he said, approaching Tom and Rose. They're still amazed by your light binding. 3 more human Luminarian friendships have been approved for the ceremony. Through their bond, Tom felt Rose's happiness at this news. The light binding they shared had grown stronger over the past month. They could sense each other's feelings clearly now, and sometimes even share thoughts. Look who's here, Rose said suddenly, pointing to the sky. A small ship appeared above them, cloaked from regular human sight. It landed softly in the yard, and several figures emerged, representatives from other alien species in the Alliance. Tom recognized them from his studies with Rose. The tall, tree-like Dendarians, the floating cloud beings of Mist-World, and others. They all came to see the change we started, Rose said softly. The ceremony began as the sun set. The oldest council member, who had become one of their strongest supporters, stood before the gathered crowd. 1 month ago, he announced, we witnessed something we thought impossible. A true bond between human and Luminarian. Today, we celebrate not just that bond, but a new way forward for all our peoples. Tom and Rose stepped forward first, as the original pair. The light crystal they had used in their binding floated between them, shining brighter than ever. Behind them, 3 other human Luminarian pairs waited for their turn to form friendship bonds. The humans have taught us something valuable, the council member continued. Strength comes not from holding to the past, but from growing into the future. Today, we officially end the practice of arranged marriages among our people. Instead, we embrace the human value of choice. James stood up and announced, and as my first act under the new laws, I am choosing to focus on diplomatic relations rather than marriage. There are more important things than royal bloodlines. Through the bond, Tom felt Rose's amused approval. They both knew James had started dating one of the human diplomats, though it wasn't public knowledge yet. The ceremony continued as the new pairs formed their bonds. Each time, the light crystals created unique patterns in the air, showing the individual nature of each connection. Tom and Rose watched, their own bond humming with happiness. Later, as the celebration continued around them, Tom and Rose stood aside for a moment. You know, Tom said, when you appeared in my room that night, I thought my life was going to get weird. I didn't expect it to get wonderful. Rose smiled, sending sparkles of light through their bond. We still have so much to do. There are more traditions to change, more bridges to build between our worlds. I know, Tom replied, but we'll do it together. All of us. He looked around at the gathering, humans and aliens talking, laughing, sharing stories. It was more than just diplomacy. It was the beginning of a true galactic community. Above them, the stars twinkled, seeming brighter than before. Or maybe Tom thought. He was just finally seeing them clearly. After all, some of them weren't stars at all, but the lights of other worlds, other peoples, all connected in ways he was only beginning to understand. The future was bright indeed, and it was going to be amazing.